Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Bienvenidos a mi canal. Me llamo Daniela. My name is Daniela and today is amazing because it is the Hop Around Latin America collab hop. And so there are 10 of us Latina DIYers who are proud to share our culture with you, and there's a $150 Amazon gift card giveaway that I will get into in just a minute. But I want to tell you a little bit about me and my channel. Again, my name is Daniela. This is my cat Kobe. I am 50% Chilean on my mom's side, who was born and raised in Chile, and I'm proud to be Hispanic. And on this channel I do crafting with a cocktail, which means we make crafts and cocktails all in one segment. Now, my favorite Chilean drink is a Pisco sour, which I made in an old video, so I'm just going to insert that clip here. After that, we'll jump right into the DIYs, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about today's hop and giveaway. So make sure you stick around. Cheers! Pisco sours are super simple to make. It's just lemon, water, sugar, pisco, and an egg white. I'm starting off by just mixing in some water and sugar in a 1-to-1 ratio and then mixing it until dissolved. This is essentially a simple syrup that we're creating for our drink. So once you have it really nice and mixed, you are going to move on to squeezing a bunch of lemons. By the way, I probably did about a half cup sugar, half cup water, or you could do 1-to-1 cup. Nope, I lied. Yeah, half cup sugar, half cup water. I didn't measure there, I don't think. But anyways, you're going to want 1 cup of pure lemon juice. If you guys have been on my channel before, you know I have weak wrists, so I have my handy helper, my boyfriend here, squeezing all of these lemons for me until I have about a cup's worth of fresh lemon juice. Then it's time to blend everything up. Before that, I'm taking about a cup or a little bit more than a cup's worth of ice and blending that, just shredding it up to make it almost like snow cone type of texture. And that's just going to help kind of really mix into our drink without making it chunky like a slushie. It's just kind of going to cool it off and help it make it nice and frothy. So once you've got that going, you're going to add in about a cup's worth of Pisco. Everything here is about a cup of lemon juice, a cup of simple syrup, a cup of Pisco. It's all pretty easy. So I'm just adding in a cup of Pisco. Sometimes I add a little splash more. I like my drink strong, okay? And then I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. So that sugar water, the lemon juice, and the white of an egg. Now I know that sounds crazy, but the white of the egg just makes it nice and frothy and fluffy on top, and it gives us those bubbles we're looking for. If you're making a large batch of this, you could get away with just doing 1 egg white still and not having to keep adding more and more and more. This is just how I make mine. This is how I learned from my Chilean friends and family. So if you know a different version that doesn't require the egg white because it freaks you out, or if you're vegan, cool, go for it. Totally up to you. I just serve these up in some nice glasses. I don't have champagne glasses, which is what they should be served in, but it tastes all the same. So cheers! We are kicking it off with a bang with this Moai statue succulent planter. I am absolutely obsessed with this DIY. I'm repurposing an old DIY from a video I did several months ago, and I'm just going to peel off everything that I have on there. Now, I went to Dollar Tree to look for this same exact vase, and they were totally out, so that's why I'm reusing this. And to be honest, it was just decorative, and I'd rather have something I really want to use. I mean, I guess it had a purpose, but anyways, I just completely ripped that off. You can buy these exact same jars at Dollar Tree, like I said, or vase. I just didn't have any when I went. So now I'm just mixing some equal parts water and glue, maybe a little more glue than water so it doesn't get too runny. And I'm going to completely coat my vase with this. I'm just kind of doing it piece by piece so that it doesn't get too messy and sticky on my fingers. And now I'm just coating it with some tissue paper that I had pre-cut to about the size of the vase. I'm going to keep gluing this around and around, and this is going to create a base for our air dry clay to glue onto. As you can see, once it was fully wrapped, I did a nice coat of the glue all the way around on top, and now I'm going to start working with my air dry clay. I use Sculpey version of air dry clay. I haven't had success with the Crayola brand, but you can use whatever air dry clay suits you best, okay? I'm rolling it out into thin-ish pieces into the sizes I need. Now, if you've seen a Moai before, these are the large head statues that are on Easter Island that are off the coast of Chile and are part of Chile, and so these have very distinct kind of shapes to them. So I'm basically just building what it looks like. I have a picture of it pulled up on my laptop that you can't see here, but I'm just cutting the pieces I need that I feel like will represent it best. I don't know how to describe it to you other than that. I'm just going to keep building around the pieces that fit the statue's figure. I am doing a scoring technique, which means I'm making little scratch marks, and then I'm putting a layer of that liquidy glue and then adhering it that way, and then I just use my hands to really press it in and make it nice and thin, and then just kind of smooth it out wherever it needs. I also use water as I go to smooth out any cracks. As I'm going, I am resealing any of the extra clay and just pulling out what I need, because since it's air dry clay, it will get crusty. I'm working on the nose here, which was a bit difficult, but I think I nailed it in the end. I'm not going to show you every single body part just to save a little bit of time, but I'm just doing them individually and then using the same technique where I just score the back. I make little crisscross lines everywhere, put a layer of marked glue mixture, adhere it on, and then wherever I need to, I just smooth it out the best I can with my hands, my fingers. I might add a little extra clay, whatever it takes. Here I'm working on the last part of my statue, which is the chin. I just made this to give it that kind of 3D effect so it didn't just look so cylindrical, but in the end I did that kind of headpiece, the nose, eyes, ears, and a chin. There's not really anything on the back, and like I said, I just didn't want to show all that because this video would have been forever long if I would have. Just using some water here to really thin it out, smooth it out as best as possible. I'm not worried about any crinks or crinkles because I know they'll get covered with paint later. I let it sit overnight. Not a few hours, completely overnight to dry. Then I'm going in with what will be the cement base for all of our projects today in our faux cement DIYs. I'm using some baking soda, some white acrylic paint, a little bit of chalk paint, white chalk paint, and some black paint just to create a gray. And I really go back and forth throughout this whole process and my other projects of going light gray, dark gray, whatever. I wanted mine to be really thick and textured, so I added a lot of baking soda, at least enough to mix it though, because at first it was a little too dense. But I'm just going to completely coat this and just give it a nice base coat as best I can, just really covering everything. Again, I'm not worried about any of those tissue paper wrinkles because it just adds to the texture of the piece, and I absolutely love that. When the base is completely coated, I'm going to add a little bit of extra black, like I said, into my mix here and just kind of go around with that lightly. I'm not completely coating it. I'm just adding a little bit of variety in color and texture doing this. I also didn't completely mix it in the jar. I just kind of dabbed it a few times, mixed it a little bit. I like this kind of mixture of different grays, blacks, whites. I don't want it all to be very streamlined except for that first original base coat mix. I'm going to keep going in with this darker color for a little bit, and I'm also taking a smaller brush and adding in areas where it should be darker, so like in the nostrils, around some of the edges, in the crease of the mouth, just to really emphasize them and make them how they would look naturally anyways. And I'm just going to play with this until I like it. Then I realized it all seemed a little too smooth, a little too streamlined, so I added even more black to my mix, and I'm using a smaller brush and stippling or pouncing it around just to add some more variety in color and texture, because it makes the most sense to me that something like a giant cement carved statue would not all be perfectly done. It would have some of these offset colors and textures throughout. So that's just what I'm doing here, and then I let it completely dry. So the final step is to take one of these Dollar Tree succulents that I just pulled out of the pot. As you saw earlier, the foam is already in there and good to go. And then I'm using some leftover rocks from my old project, which didn't quite fill it up enough. So then I open this new pack, fill it up in there, throw my succulent on top, and that's absolutely it for this project. I am sincerely so excited about how it turned out. It turned out even better than I'd hoped for. I was a bit nervous, but I had some confidence in there, and honestly, it turned out perfectly. I am blown away. So let's talk about the hop around Latin America. So a hop is where you go down in the description, you'll see the next person in the hops channel listed there, and you'll go to their video and watch it as well. You want to make it around to all of us 10 amazing, talented Latina DIYers. I can't wait for you to see all the talent in this group. If you want to be entered into the giveaway, there are some rules. You need to watch and like each video in the hop, and there will be a special Spanish keyword or phrase in each video that we're going to say in Spanish that you have to guess what it means in English. You're going to write it down in the comments down below. Each person's word or phrase will be different. If you for sure know it, don't make it obvious, no cheating. Just write it in there, okay? And the winner will be announced on Friday, June 11th on all of our community tabs. Good luck, and I hope you love seeing all this beautiful Latina infusion. We are so proud of our culture, and I'm so excited that these ladies all wanted to join me in this amazing hop. This next DIY is kind of a modern decor piece with this little Chilean infusion that we'll get to now. Now, ignore the turquoise, okay? I thought I was going to paint these turquoise, and then I was like, duh, I should paint them blue for Lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli is the national stone of Chile. It's really beautiful dark blue with some little tiny white streaks if you get a good piece. It might be more white if you don't get a good piece. And it's got little gold flecks in it. They're absolutely stunning. So I just took some of these little like fishbowl marbles from Dollar Tree, gave them a nice coat of some blue paint from Faux. Thank you, Plaid Crafts. I am a Plaid ambassador if you guys didn't know, so I'm really proud to present some of their products throughout this video and all of my videos. But anyways, give them a good coat of that. And then I'm just going to dry them off with my heat gun. This sped up the process so much because I was able to use my heat gun between each time I had to paint something. That way I didn't have to wait. If you're interested in picking up a heat gun, I will leave it linked for you down in the description box below. Here I'm showing you a real piece of lapis lazuli that I have. This one is polished, and you can see kind of what it looks like. It's hard to see the gold flecks in there, but they're really beautiful when you see it in person. My mom is a huge lover of lapis lazuli. Every time we go to Chile, she has to buy some jewelry that incorporates it, and I have a few pieces myself, and it's just so beautiful, and I love having a part of my culture with me. So here I'm just adding a little bit of variety in color by using a little bit of a lighter blue. But then I go in with a teeny tiny brush and a really light blue to create some of those little squiggly lines that go through the natural gemstone. So here I'm making my final touches with some dark blue. So I added a little bit of black to my blue just to add some more dimension to my gemstones. Here's what they're looking like, and as my final touches I'm just giving them a little bit more, but I'm adding some glossy Mod Podge and then just using the cap of my gold leaf bottle that I got from AliExpress. I will leave it linked below. It seemed to make the best flaky effect because I got all the little tiny flecks I was hoping for. I did use my finger at some points, but it seemed like just using the styrofoam cap underneath the actual twist stuff cap gave the best effect. As you can see, I added a lot of gold. My original rock did not have that much gold, but I really liked the extra flair.
To get off any excess, I did use some chippy brushes just to brush over them and get any extra flakes that were just hanging off or that weren't sticking completely. To finish off my gems, I waited for the gold to completely dry and then went over with a complete solid coat of the glossy Mod Podge. I wanted them to be glossy, just like a gem would be.
And this is the stone that she painted to look exactly like Lapis lazuli.
Just like my honey said, I'm trying to make them look like Lapis. Again, I added a little bit more gold than what was needed, but I love the way they turned out. So now I'm going in with my chippy brush and my cement paint that I used earlier for my Moai. It's literally the exact same paint. I did this all at once, and I'm just going around and painting this entire frame for the mirror. Again, I got this at Dollar Tree. It came just like this, but I wanted it for my cement DIYs, so I'm covering it, and I go into all the edges and every little nook and cranny of the mirror. I don't show you all of it because it took me quite a while. Once I had the base coat down though, I did add some white to my paint and went with a lighter color just to brush over it. I didn't go with much of a darker color here. I just wanted this one to be nice and bright, so I just lightly brushed some of the lighter paint over it just to give it some nice light and texture. So then, once it's completely dry, I'm just going around and adding my Lapis lazuli fake gems, and luckily, as you can see here, I'm counting all of the corners or intersections where those like little crossed areas end up touching the mirror, and it perfectly ended up having to be 12. So, and I had 12 gems. So it made it really easy for me to evenly space them all because they each had a little intersection to go on. So I'm just hot gluing them here, and that's about it for this project. I really love how this modern and yet Chilean twist on this piece turned out. Let me know what you guys think below.
I just wanted to pop in one last time to remind you all that if you are new here, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, or share with a friend, people you think that would enjoy my videos. It really helps to support my channel grow. For those of you who are new here, I am working on getting monetized still, which means I'm still working on the number of hours watched so that I can get paid via YouTube. My first paycheck is going to be 50% donated to Moving Arts Española here in New Mexico that supports arts, dance, all sorts of programming for children and families. So I hope you're here to stay, and if you've already been here, you know I'm already grateful for you. All right, let's move on to our last DIY.
For our final DIY, we are making these copihue coasters. Copihue is the national flower of Chile. It's kind of like a bellflower, but they're much larger, and they are red. So we are starting off with our cement paint and just painting onto these little wooden rounds that I found at Walmart. They came in a pack of, I want to say 6 for super cheap, like $2 or something like that. And while we're here, I will tell you that our key phrase is "que chori," as in, "ay, que chori," or "that looks chori." So let me know what you guys think that means down below. And that way, you are entered into the giveaway, which again, I will announce on June 11th. So honestly, I was really torn about how I wanted these to look. I couldn't decide if I wanted texture or color or whatever it is, so I'm going in with my small brush and some texture paint here as well. I really just played with it until I liked it. When I was happy with how these looked and they were completely dry, I just traced them out onto a sheet of cork that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm just using a Sharpie here. And this has a sticky back on it, which made it so much easier for them to adhere to the back of my coasters. As you can see here, they are completely cut, and I'm just peeling the backing off and sticking them onto the back of my little wood rounds, and then just cutting off any excess that was not needed. Now I'm checking out this copper plate that I have from Chile that has copihues on it, just to see the kind of outline shape that I want this to look like. I'm figuring out here where I'm going to place it. But I'm going in with just some red multi-surface paint, which means it can be used for a lot of different things. But I'm basically just going with a small brush and my red paint and figuring out what I want these to look like, and the best shape just to make it look like a copihue and not another flower. So I'm going in with that and just kind of creating almost like a silhouette of it, I want to say. And I do this on both pieces. They have kind of a square top, so I was trying to get that in as well. They're certainly a unique flower, and I'm not sure that they look exactly like it, but I'm happy with how they turned out. I couldn't decide for a while if I wanted to fill in those centers that you see here, but eventually I just did fill them in. I just felt like it made the most sense. And then I used a little bit of white paint just to add some extra detail to my copihues. As a final touch, once they were done, I made sure to coat them with some acrylic sealant from Mod Podge as well. I took them outside and sealed them, so I don't show you that here, but I did end up sealing them twice. Oh yes, and here I am just adding a nice little green stem as well. The final step of our coasters is just to hot glue on some nice thick jute cord or twine. I will also leave this linked below if you're interested in it, but I just kind of slowly go around and roll it onto my coaster piece. Now, evidently, these are not as thick as cement would be, but I do love the effect that they give off. I did trim off some of the excess little kind of stringy pieces that were hanging, but other than that, that's it. I absolutely love these pieces, and I have them hanging out in my living room, ready for some drinks to sit on them. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you check out all the other creators, and I'll see you next time. Bye.